Oh, well, we did it. This is the summit of Mount Halifax. I bet the view from up here is amazing on its day. Today it's just cold. G'day and welcome to Running Australia. I'm Rob Malicki, and today's episode we are doing a beautiful run which is going to take us from 0 metres above sea level, more or less, up to 1,000 metres over sea level in just 5Ks. It's called Mount Halifax. It's here in northern Queensland at the end of a kind of dusty dirt road, and there it is looming up in the mist. I've gotten a bit of intel on this track in advance because with those kind of gradients, I was sort of wanting to know a little bit more. So I reached out to a few people who have run this track and who are in the top 10 on Strava just to find out what it's like. We're looking forward to like some creek bed running, some boulders, and then a boulder scramble with rails and ropes to get all the way to the top. This is going to be awesome. You ready? Let's go running. Alright, where are we? Walking track. Pretty obvious. A 1,000 vertical meters this morning. This should be fun. In fact, not quite 1,000. Frustratingly, it's like 996 vertical meters. So just a handful short of 1,000 over 5Ks. And obviously in this first section, key is like, just don't blow up your legs. It's tempting to go out hard, but really with what's to come, you just need to start warming up. You see the little reflector dots? This is what we're going to be following. Particularly higher up. Best time on Strava at time of filming is about 1 hour and 16 minutes, I think, which I reckon is pretty fast. I'd say if I were fit, fully fit, 1 hour 15 would be doable. Haven't got much of a trail runner's build. Normally I've got big, thick calves and quads from when I was a cyclist. And that's really good for power climbing, which we're going to need on the top part of this climb. Problem right now is that I can feel that I've done the sports tape up a little bit too tight on my right ankle. I've strapped my ankles for this one. In fact, both feel a little bit tight, but that might just be because there's some residual soreness in them from the last run. I'll see how that unfolds. Oh, this is crappy. I think right there, straight across. So I'm running with a Camelback, not with my usual trail running bottles, my vest. Figured it would be wise to have as much water as possible for this one. Whoa, fuck. You see that? Holy shit. Look how big that spider is. Oh, she's a monster. Holy crap. That is the biggest spider I've ever seen in Australia. That spider is enormous. Like, it's my hand, more or less the same level. Don't get bit. Big spider. Wow. Wow. I'll need to remember her for the way home. Look, I'm flying down here. It's like literally right at the bottom here where it opens up. Mental note. Big spider. Could drop down into the creek below. Well, good news. My taped ankles just saved me. Just had a loose stone give way and I rolled it, but got caught by the tape. So it's worth the 15 minutes. It's tape up, 10 minutes. Oh wow, this is a hell of a place. Stop on the way back down. The thing right now is just keeping track of the track markers, because some of them are really good, some of them are faded. I think that chap's Strava record is pretty safe. Very safe. Anyone who can run this is certainly far stronger than I am. Makes sense, right? 1,000 meters over 5k. First k is basically flat. Means you got an average gradient there on up at 40%. Let's be nice and say 30%. It's good to have a little bit of downhill just to relax the feet and legs a little bit, even though it's not really running territory here, is it? Shit, I'm stuck. The problem with this blue cord, it's very helpful, but the ants have decided to use it as a makeshift highway. As a result, you pull on the rope and get a handful of ants. You can like smell the formic acid. I needed to stop there. It's too hard. Blew up. Definitely no KOM today. That's okay. It's okay because this is spectacular. The slope is easily 40 or 45%. Oh, I must be very careful here. It's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Oh fuck, ow, ow, ow. Oh, ouch. That was a large branch. How did I not see that? Certainly beautiful up there. The thing that's hard to know is, if you don't know the trail, how much is left. You know, can I dig deep with one last effort to get up there, or do I need to keep some energy? Critically important when you're out in the bush is to bring enough water. You know, conditions change very fast out here, and even if you're heading off and it's a relatively mild day, think about worst case scenario. What happens if the sun's going to come out and it gets hot? Like, better to be carrying too much water than not enough. It's one of those things. I wish I knew the track so I knew where the end was, because it's like a 50-degree slope going straight up. I've got good strength, but it doesn't last. Power. So I kind of need to know where the top is in order to like get up there quick, but not burn up all of my matches and have nothing left. All right, let's do it. Up we go.
The good thing about steep gradients is you get your vertical meters quickly. Even though it's hard, you're not suffering for as long. I must admit, this has been a bit of a sufferfest, this hike. Looks like we're getting very close to the top there. Another 50 vertical. Summit ridge here, I reckon. Must be very close to the top now. We're up in the cloud. I can see a little bit more. Well, that wind is howling. Not surprising. We're up a kilometre and right next to the ocean. Up in the cloud here, the water condenses on the leaves, as you can maybe see. And as a result, it's very wet. Not unpleasant, in fact. But if you stop for too long, you get cold very fast. I bet that view is something normally, really something. Today there is no view, only cloud. Oh, lovely. False crest. Fantastic. Getting close to 2 hours for the ascent so far. There's still quite a good chunk to go there, isn't there? This looks like the high point, but it's not marked. I would normally expect a summit to be marked. Oh, there we go. He says, Mount Halifax. Hello. Well, we did it. This is the summit of Mount Halifax. I bet the view from up here is amazing on its day. Today it's just cold. A sheer drop into nothing. Let's be very careful there. There it is, Mount Halifax. That's the high point. The sign has blown over in the wind. Well, that was very hard. Definitely not a run. Very solid hike. I've come in under 2 hours there. Maybe like an hour 55 or something like that, which good enough. Who cares? It's good fun. So I'm gonna run down. I will run the GoPro, but I'm nearly out of battery because it's been such a long way up. And so once that video cuts out, that's us done for today. Down, down, down. And of course, going down can be more dangerous, or it is more dangerous than going up. Like, definitely more likely to hurt yourself. And while you're going up, you tend to like raise your body heat quite a lot because you're spending, like going down, you can lose body heat because it's too cool. Firstly, it's very slippery, but it's harder to get your body heat up going down. So I risk getting really cold on this top section, so I'm not eager to hang around too long. And basically to get down out of into the wind shadow. The other thing is, like this up the top here, you've got this really dark soil, which is gorgeous. Smells amazing. Just proper rainforest, right up here on the summit. but it does get very gluggy, sticks to your shoes, and not to mention like these track markers. Like there's many of them on this trail. I must admit it's very well marked, but you know, there are some trails where, you know, there's not as many track markers. Whoa, and that becomes quite perilous, because if you lose your track on the way down, well, you can end up like down in a gully or on top of a waterfall or anything, where getting back up becomes literally impossible. Oh, look at the sun streaming through there. That's beautiful. Probably missed that on the summit by a few minutes. I didn't do this for the photograph, did I? Oh shit, it's so slippery. Need to really be careful. I'm a good descender. I've got great descending shoes. Yeah, but this surface really gets stuck in your shoes and just wrecks the tread. Or clogs the tread, I should say. It doesn't wreck it. There we go. The cloud is cleared. And that's where I was, over there on the summit not long ago. Just peeping through the cloud. That cloud is just raising up over the coal. It's been a good run. Thanks for joining me for a great walk up Mount Halifax. I'll see you next time on Running Australia. Until then, happy running.